Hey everybody, it's Mr. Loose, and your technique of the week is eyes. Today I'm just going to show you a real quick way of drawing eyes that make them look more realistic, and it doesn't take that long to do it, so I think you'll really enjoy this. So for starters, I'm going to start off by drawing like a C, okay, just like that. And I'm going to be doing a right eye, because the C, this is actually the tear duct, and this goes towards the nose, so the nose would be right here. If you wanted to do a left eye, you would do the exact same thing, but opposite, okay? So here's our little tear duct, and from the tear duct, at the top of the C, I'm going to gradually let a line come over and make like a football shape, okay? So there is our eye. This is going to be like the general outline of our eye. And I'm going to even go in and add an eyelid if you wanted to. You don't have to. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. Well, I mean, you would have to if you're going to make a realistic eye, but if you don't want to do that right now, you don't have to. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So here's just the basic outline of my eye. I'm now going to go in and I'm going to draw what is called, actually, I don't know if I went that far over. I'm not going to draw, oh yeah, let's try it. I'm going to draw the outline of the iris. Okay, so the iris is the part of the eye that has the color in it. So when you see someone with green eyes, the green part is called the iris, okay? And then inside the iris is going to be the pupil. And the pupil is the black dot in the middle of the eyes. All right, so usually what people do when they're drawing, they would draw just the pupil and like the white eyeball part. They might leave out the iris. Or like in animation, you see that a lot. But this is the part that you see, okay? You see how to, you have the beautiful colored part, iris, pupil. And this already looks so dramatic. He looks kind of angry, like, "Urgh." Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in my pupil. Okay. So this is the black part. That's what I'm coloring it in. Alright, so far that's what we got. And right now, just this, even though we are starting to make a realistic eye, it still looks animated. It looks like a kind of a cartoon animated style. So that's what we got so far. And now I'm going to go in real quick and I'm going to color in my tear duct. Because if you look, it's in somebody's like actual eye, you can see like part of the skin or the eye socket and like the corners. And I think when you add that, it gives it just a little bit more depth. So it's pretty interesting looking. I like that. It makes it not as plain. Now, this next part, I'm going to add some like lines to my iris to give the illusion of the color. Usually, if you were doing this with color, you do this part with like if you want blue, I should do it with blue. If you want a green, I should do it with the green. But I'm just going to use a regular pencil today. And all you're doing is just boop, 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 like lines. And you're going around the eye. Like that. That's all you gotta do. And you would do, what I would suggest if you were doing this in color, is I would color the entire iris, whatever color you wanted, and then with that same color, go in darker around, like what I'm doing now. This kind of sunflower starburst thing, okay? And I might color this just a little bit darker so it stands out. So there is that. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my eraser and I'm going to erase certain parts. Okay. And I'm going to give like the illusion of a glare. And I'm not just going to do one, I'm going to do two. To make it a little bit more exciting. And you don't have to do circles. You can also do like rectangles, like that. You can do that in the eye. And that's also really interesting. Here, I'll show you. You can, in fact, sometimes the more blockier you draw it, not too blocky, of course, but it makes it look a little bit more realistic and dramatic. So that's pretty cool. Okay. And now I'm going to add the lashes. And we have eyelashes on the top and on the bottom. And they're going to come from your lid. And we have more eyelashes on the top than we do on the bottom. And a lot of people will give, when they're drawing girl eyes, they'll give them much more longer, luscious lashes. But guys also have lashes like that. And then there are girls who also don't have as full of the lashes. And same thing with guys, of course. So eyelashes are not based off of gender. So I'm just going to go in and just draw just a few lashes. And with eyelashes, you don't have to draw like 5 million individual little hairs. You can draw enough to where it plays a trick on the eye that gives the illusion like, oh yeah, there's eyelashes here. And when we see it, even though we know that that's not a million different hairs on there, our mind's still like, oh, that looks right. Like, it'll still allow it to be acceptable, okay? And then I'm going to draw some little ones down here. Not a whole lot, but just a little. Okay. There we go. And that is how you draw an eye. And with these basic skills, you can apply it with color to give you some really cool different eyes. So these are animal eyes. They're not people eyes, but I still use the same method that I just showed you, and I did these with Prismacolors. So those are really cool. Okay. So I mean, you can do it with not just people, you can do it with like cats, birds, even reptiles. Okay. So those are eye techniques.